Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Inside the Video Store. It's Wednesday, the 9th of April, coming up to 6 p.m. on a sunny rural evening. Very nice indeed. How are we? How are we? We is good. Lots going on at the moment. It's really frenetic. It's quite something indeed. As you can see, this is my handiwork for today. Just a little bit in the corner of the store there that could do with a bit of development. You know, I think I can build a kind of framework around the window of the store, which is fairly subtle and fairly disguised, so it's not, it's not protruding too much. And I mean, these units fit 40 discs each, so we're just going to have a series of columns and a shelf going right above the columns, about 7 foot high, which will continue along from where the Asylum and Sci-Fi Channel original features shelf is. It just seems to make sense, and it seems to complete that side of the store, really. So yeah, I've just been in the past few hours just building these. They just need a couple of licks of paint, and then hopefully over the weekend I can install that and secure it, and then we can think about what to put there. I'm not after space so much, per se at the moment, but the new section that I opened this year, which had all the little boutique labels separated into their own little segments, that's been performing really, really well. It's a bit of a magnet for people. It's something they seem drawn to, because as I always say, that there are things there that they can't find anywhere else. So yeah, that was today's job. We had Radio Merseyside in here from the BBC on Friday, which was great. Really nice guy in David, the presenter. Great interview. They're currently editing that, and that should be up on BBC Sounds sometime next week, I think. We had Jake here on Sunday doing a little documentary, which was really, really cool. I think he's going to do a really great job. He's a budding filmmaker, kind of frustrated that he's working 9 to 5, which, that's part of life, I suppose. But, he wants to kind of do something, take his ability, and it is a great ability, and put something out on the internet. So that will be really interesting to see how that develops. In terms of customers, it's been absolutely crazy. I've been doing this job for almost 30 years now, and I've never known it like this. Really, it's wonderful. It's a little daunting. I mean, Tuesday alone was just Tuesday. I was sending out as many films on a Tuesday that I used to send out in a week post-COVID. So I mean, it's quite something. And Tuesday was full of new people finding the store for the first time. Everyone who came in for the first time was under 30, and they just seemed to be absolutely thrilled by what the store offered. So yeah, just a really good few days, to be honest. Really buoyant, really really good. So very exciting times at Snips. Very exciting times indeed. What do we got for today? It's a packed show, to be honest. There's loads of stuff. Loads of stuff mounted, feet high on my right-hand side, just out of camera shot. It's a daunting array of titles to look at today, but we're not going to spend too much time examining each and every one of them. We're just going to whip through and see where we go. Quick question for you. Every time I order from TerraVision, which I'm very satisfied with, I get this in the box. What is this? What is this? Is this some kind of edible? I don't know what it is. Every time, it's like, is it? I dread to think what it is. But anyway, this is in like every TerraVision box that comes in, and I have no idea what it could be. Answers on a postcard, please. Right, let's have a look at this week's brand new releases. and it is quite a week. It's also got a momentous week, to be honest, because I know you'll laugh, but forever and a day, Blu-ray has, DVD has been king. You know, a lot of my customers have just resolutely stayed with their DVD players and not really wanted to upgrade, because you got to remember that for many, 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 many years, the people renting here weren't collectors. They weren't particularly into films. It was just, yeah, maybe you call them fair weather renters. Those people who come in once or twice a month, rent the latest movie, something not particularly, involving, and then that was it. They were happy. So there's no reason for them to ever upgrade to Blu-ray. Obviously, things in the last few years have evolved at pace. And so for Nosferatu, this is the first time that I have more Blu-rays in stock than a DVD. So it has come out on DVD and I've got one, but I flipped the switch, and instead of getting 2 DVD and 1 Blu-ray, I got 2 Blu-ray and 1 DVD. I know it's literally 3 copies. I know it's not going to change the world. But for me, for someone who's done something for so long, and DVD has always remained people's go-to format, it does seem to kind of indicate, or certainly, underline the switch in personnel, or clientele rather. But yeah, Robert Eggers' Nosferatu is the big film of the week. I wasn't a great fan of The Witch, but I am going to revisit that. It's been a few years, and I'd like to revisit that because I'm not sure. I think I could do with taking another look at it. And I think it's important to always do that with films. If they don't click first time around, give them a few years and then revisit. So Nosferatu, looking forward to this. A great cast. Lots of people seem really excited to take a look at it. And of course, the Blu-ray comes with 2 versions of the movie, both the theatrical and the extended cut. So that's this week's big movie. I don't know what to make of this thing here. It is Better Man. Didn't this do really poorly in America because they don't really know who Robbie Williams is? Some of us in Britain would prefer not to know who he is. But yeah, this is the Robbie Williams biopic type thing. Yeah, I don't know how this will do. I don't know how this will perform. We shall see. But it is here, and it is in on Blu-ray and DVD. We have a new one from Shudder, which does look very cool indeed. It's got Nick Frost in the lead role, and it's called Black Cab. And it is pretty much, as you can imagine, 2 people get picked up in a black cab, and terrible things happen to them at some point. It looks good. I like this kind of horror / thriller, to be honest. So I think this one will be a perennial renter, and I was only happy to get a couple of copies of it. Only out on DVD though this week is Frank Grillo's film, Long Gone Heroes. I think Frank Grillo stepped into this at the last minute. I'm sure someone more high profile was penciled in for it. I forget who. It wasn't Stallone, was it? Might have been. But yeah, this is Frank Grillo. You got Mickey Pfeiffer in this. Haven't seen him in a film for quite some time. Melissa Leo and Andy Garcia as well. So it's quite a cast. So this should do pretty well, to be honest. I caught this one, The Contractor, on Prime Video a couple of years back, and it's weirdly suddenly arrived on DVD and DVD out. Oh no, it did come out on Blu as well. I just got the DVD though, with Chris Pine. It's not a bad little film, to be honest, if you like your military-themed action thrillers. Why it suddenly arrived on physical media at this point in time, I don't know. Probably something to do with Dazzler's deal with Lionsgate, etc., etc. So that's fair enough. The more that comes to physical media, more is welcome. Then we have A Real Pain. This looks pretty cool indeed. This is directed by Jesse Eisenberg, and it features Kieran Culkin as well. A story of 2 brothers who got cousins rather, who reunite for a tour through Poland to honor their beloved grandmother. Sounds really great. So I think I'll be watching that myself. Likewise with this one. This one looks really, really interesting, like a modern day Raging Bull, because it's directed by Jack Huston, son of Danny Huston, son of John Huston, or grandson of John Huston, obviously. And it's a boxing movie from the producer of The Irishman, about Irish Mike Flanagan. Looks cool, but the cast is just phenomenal. Obviously Michael Pitt in the lead role, but also you've got Steve Buscemi, you've got Ron Perlman, and you have a rare appearance from Joe Pesci. So that's really exciting. So that's one to watch. How do you pronounce this? I mean, this is crazy. Obviously it's Ape, Mecha Ape, New World Order. But what's the X? Is it Ape X? Mecha Ape? Is it Ape times? Mecha Ape? It just seems... Is it X Ape Mecha Ape? Well, it just... I don't know. It's confused me. But anyway, it is the third film, the much anticipated third film in the Asylum's Ape trilogy, maybe. And to be honest, they are really good. It's obviously their knockoff of Godzilla, King Kong, but they're great, to be honest. I saw the first one. I was really, really impressed with it. I thought it was some good production values and some great action sequences. It's if you like a low budget monster movie, they do come heartily recommended. Okie dokie. So that's this week's new releases. And to be honest, some weeks we've had 1s and 2s. We got 9 there. That's pretty good, to be honest. So absolutely loads for people to go through. Aren't they lucky? Boutiques, slightly fewer. But again, week 1 is a trickle. Week 2 is a trickle. Week 3 and 4, they're just, deluges of boutique releases in the month, to be honest. So it does tend to follow the same pattern. We have 2 entries into 88 Films / a Classics collection. Oh, excuse me. Arguably 2 entries that barely fit into the / Classics collection, but that's fine. There's some interesting stuff coming from 88, actually. That they sent me a text last week. One of those typical 88 texts that's like, do you reckon we should license this film? With obviously a title of a film. And you're like, yeah, cool, we'll go and do that. What do I know? But still. But yeah, some very, very cool films being licensed from 88 at the moment. They've got a really good deal with a licensor in America with some really, really interesting horror films that haven't been seen in the UK for quite a long time. So if that deal goes through, and it won't be till probably early 2026 that you'll see those films come through, then that will be something to celebrate. And obviously we've got first dibs on commentaries, I reckon. We have Wacko. Wacko is in the 88 Films / a Classics collection, number 56. I don't know why this is in this collection, but nevertheless, it is a comedy horror in the same vein as Student Bodies and Saturday the 14th. It describes Wacko as one of the better ones. Although, on the other hand, it does have Graydon Clark as the director. So that's kind of a good thing about it, with the cast including Judge Kennedy, Joe Don Baker, Charles Napier, and Stella Stevens. So to be honest, with that cast alone, it's worth a look. That is Wacko on Blu-ray from 88 Films. And we have John Cassavetes in The Incubus. One of Cassavetes' acting gigs that he did to fund one of his directing roles. But haven't seen this. Haven't seen this at all, but anything with John Cassavetes in is bound to be worth watching. So that is Incubus. Another entry into the 88 Roman porno collection. This range of films hasn't really taken off here just yet. I'll persevere, and I think it will attract people as as time goes on. They're really odd little films. To be honest, I haven't seen any of them myself, which might help. But they are really odd little films, and they're only about 65, 70 minutes in duration. So I'm going to make a real concerted effort to catch some of these. But this is Night of the Felines, and looks suitably intriguing. And finally, we have some Chaplin, some silent era Chaplin. A Woman of Paris. So yeah, very, very cool drama from 1923, which confounded audiences, with Chaplin making the leap from comedy to drama. But this is a really loaded Criterion Blu-ray. No 4K UHD of this. There's only the Blu-ray, but it's a great upgrade to my DVD over there. So really pleased to have that one in the Criterion collection. Okie dokie, so they're the newbies. Actually, I'm just going to stick those over there for the time being, if that's all right with you. And we'll have a look what's been renting out. So again, it was one of those weeks really where, how do you pick 8? How do you pick 8 from what went out? Because I tell you, the quality of stuff that people are renting is phenomenal. I'm envious of them. Envious. This was a weird rental. It was someone coming in for something else, and they just they never knew we were here. And it's one of those people that just kind of spins around in disbelief at what this place is, and then they're like, well, I only came in for this, but you've got all these films. Do people still rent films? That's always the question they ask. They do. Anyway, the guy went out and came back about 10 seconds later and said, well, I'm here. You don't have fear of a black hat, do you? And I'm like, absolutely. And I don't think anyone's ever rented this film before. It's kind of a mega blaxploitation film, isn't it, really? But from a later period, I think 1994. But yeah, it's never really got much attention, but he was so pleased that I had it in. So yeah, it's nice to get that one on loan. Brilliant stuff. I had my good friend from the Tape Trove over in Liverpool, worth checking out their Facebook page and Instagram page. That is the Tape Trove, doing really interesting things with retro games and retro things like VHS and stuff over in Liverpool. And he's got interesting taste in movies. Anyone that kind of rents a Johann Roberts film is certainly catches my eye. I like the director. My favorite film of his is, of course, The Strangers 2, which I think is superb. But F, I think, is an early masterpiece of his that I think is very, very good indeed, and well worth a look. Kind of hoodie horror mixed with school time slasher. It's good, to be honest. It's good. I'm glad to see it renting out, to be honest. Dave Made a Maze is out again, which is wonderful. Andy's got it this week. I think he's a little bit cautious about watching it, to be honest, but I think it may well become his new favourite movie, because it is that good. And it's great to see this get a second wind and to see so many people renting it who haven't discovered it. This was an interesting one. We have He Got Game, rented out the Spike Lee film. Had a new customer in on Friday, I think it was, and young lady, 16, 17, secondary school, year 12, film studies, and her class study group, they got tasked with something to do over the Easter holidays, and that was Spike Lee. And I guess, if you want to watch a plentiful array of Spike Lee films, you have to subscribe to probably 6 or 7 different streaming services. They won't be all contained in the one place. So parents kind of had a light bulb moment and thought, isn't there a place in Bevington that rents movies? And yes, there is. So they drove the 20 minutes here, and they were over the moon. The think the parents rented 3 films, the daughter rented 3 films, and yeah, just over the moon. And it's so cool to see someone on a film studies course who doesn't have to go through the rigmarole of signing up to streaming services and that kind of thing. So I'm sure she'll be the envy of her friends when she tells them that she's rented He Got Game from her local movie rental store. Kai was in yesterday, which is great to see him. A full moon film that doesn't really get much press these days is Fred Olen Ray's Sideshow. Well worth a look if you like your carny horror. Yeah, very cool. I had a customer come in on Tuesday and say, nice gentleman, slightly older. I think his wife doesn't get out too much. So she kind of sends him in with requests, but they're kind of vague requests. Last time it was Samuel L. Jackson, carte blanche. And this time it was John Travolta. I didn't really know what to go for John Travolta. Because you don't know, do you? I mean, you're not going to send home Burn Rubber, are you? God, that was a shocker. So I thought, well, I'll go for Get Shorty. That seems like a really good pick. And I thought something left field we might do. So how about Mad City? Mad City, that was a really good film, wasn't it? It was Costa Gavras. Hadn't seen it for a good while. Might not have aged well, but from what I remember, it was absolutely great. So, and it's good to get one of those old Warner clip cases out on loan as well. God, they were awful. Really, really cool to see Josie and the Pussycats renting out. I think, didn't Jawbreaker rent out a few weeks back? And I was saying about those millennial era teen movies. This is one of them, and I think this is certainly one of the best of that era. Love this film to pieces. That's Josie and the Pussycats. Finally, some of my younger customers are going through Kurosawa, that is Kiyoshi Kurosawa. Great to see them absorbing some great Japanese cinema. And Creepy is certainly one such film. So, I mean, look at that. There's some interesting and really great films going out. So that is awesome to see. Brilliant news. Okay, what's been coming in this week? I don't know what to go for first. Let's go for these. There we go. We don't do TV series much here, do we? And it's a tricky one. I'd rather give the space over to feature films, but there is an element of TV in the back, as you know. You may have seen an earlier episode where I discussed that. But I think some of these, you just have to have. I've had my eye on these for about 5 years, but it's always been one of those where I know if I buy them, I'm never going to get any return on them, which is fine. But they've always been in the upper price limit, and I thought, whoa. But then I got thinking about things being deleted, and I thought, well, if these get deleted, you're never going to get them again. And it happened to coincide with Fabulous Films setting up their own distribution website. So I thought, well, we'll give that a go. So I picked up the Alfred Hitchcock Hour, the complete collection. That's seasons 1, 2, and 3. Of course, this was voted one of the 100 best TV shows of all time by Time magazine. This is all 93 episodes. I mean, it's going to be, I mean, I've got the Twilight Zone up there, which again is essential television. And this will be essential television too. I mean, when you look at the cast list or the guest star list, and you see people like Christopher Lee, Ray Milland, Leslie Nielsen, Telly Savalas, Darren McGavin, Roddy McDowall, I mean, it's a who's who. So you can't say no to that. So I think even if it just kind of sits in the back and ventures out every so often to a plucky customer, then it's important. It's important to have them. So yeah, that is the Alfred Hitchcock Hour. And here we have Alfred Hitchcock Presents. This is the complete collection of seasons 1 to 7. How many episodes were here? I don't know. It's quite a few, isn't it? But yeah, what's that? 6,600 minutes. So you're talking a few weeks to sit through this. But they're great. You know, you will have seen some over the years on TV, no doubt. I mean, the first series alone has 39 episodes, spread over five discs, 6 discs. And, you know, you just cannot say no to this. 1955, 1956. So cool. Alfred Hitchcock in his prime, really. So yeah, I'm going to dip into these over the next few years. And I can't wait, to be honest. I love TV like this. You know, some of the best TV shows I've got in the back are things like The Twilight Zone, Alfred Hitchcock, Night Gallery. Even you could say modern day stuff like Inside Number 9. Those nice little half-hour separate stories that just reel you in every time you watch them. Gripping stuff. And I think a few of you, it's going back a few episodes now, probably about 40 episodes ago, a few of you recommended some anthology style TV episodes, like Tales from the Unexpected and Thriller. And some of you recommended the lesser known ones. So I'm really grateful for that, because I did put a list together and I'm gradually picking them up one by one. But yeah, really exciting stuff. So pleased to have those. They've been on the list for just an incredibly long period of time. So I'm thrilled to have them. Some of the also rans that came in this week are, we have a couple from TerraVision. Like I say, what is this? We have a couple from TerraVision. I saw this last night. It's good fun. It's good fun. I like the way the TerraVision mix the new and the old. So they're releasing classic films from yesteryear, but they're also putting out new films, contemporary films on nice Blu-ray editions. Now I know you'll say, well, they're not the only one to do that. Vinegar Syndrome sublabels are doing that as well. And I know they are, but they are also region locking them, which is kind of frustrating when you're seeing such niche, obscure titles being region locked, when they've got no chance whatsoever of ever coming out over here. It just seems like a really bizarre thing to do. But anyway, Devils is out, it's an excellent Korean thriller. It's Face Off mixed with Vice Versa with Judge Reinhold. So yeah, maybe less comedy than the Judge Reinhold one. But yeah, it is just about a serial killer and a cop, and they change bodies or brains. And obviously that leads to much hilarity. Not. It's very, very violent. Very, very violent. But it's a good Korean thriller that I heartily recommend. Also from TerraVision is this. I mean, this is just mega, isn't it? The Revenge of the Radioactive Reporter. This is another 4K UHD, my 100th 4K UHD at Snips. Twinned with a Blu-ray. This is exactly the same format as Rumpelstiltskin that came out a couple of months back. And it's just mega. It looks phenomenal. I saw it the other night. A really enjoyable film, really funny in parts. And it's great to see it looking so good, and good it does look. Another interesting one. This one I picked up from Strange Vice in the week. I had these. This is the Blood Island collection. You know, the Eddie Romero films with John Ashley. I had them. Well, I still got them. But when Severin put them out originally in the slightly chunkier box set, they region locked them, so no one could really watch them here. But now they've reissued it in a slimline case with 2 films per disc, and lo and behold, they've taken the region lock off, so these are now region free. So that's really, really good, because I know a lot of people have been keen to see these. You know, things like Terrors of Man, Brides of Blood, Mad Doctor of Blood Island, and of course Beast of Blood. They don't reinvent the wheel, but in terms of entertaining Filipino exploitation, you cannot go wrong. A couple of Asylum films I've missed out on. Well, one Asylum film I missed out on was this, and I don't know how I missed out on this, because it's really cool. It's an Asylum movie. Now, so your expectation's going low, isn't it? It's directed by Eric Red. Eric Red, as you know, wrote The Hitcher. He wrote great thriller 100 Feet. He wrote that great thriller with Roy Scheider and I think Adam Baldwin. What's it called? You're going to tell me. You know, great screenwriter. Did a great Western as well. I interviewed him about that. It's up on the Schlock bit. And this is Night of the Wild. It's kind of a loose remake of Day of the Animals. So that'll give you exactly what kind of vibe it is. But it's good fun. I enjoyed it. I saw it the other night. Nice. As you know, I've been raiding my wish lists before things vanish. We covered Masters of Cinema last week. This was one that came in late. It is the Todd Browning film, Outside the Law. This is from 1920. So really cool to have that in. I'll stick that up in my my now expanded Masters of Cinema collection. Oh, that's right. One of these is going to be used for Arrow Film Noir. So that'll be good to get that in there. Now I've done another batch of buy before they disappear, and I've completed my martial arts backlog. So I'll show those in a second. I couldn't resist this while I was on the Strange Vice website. It is the Million Eyes of Sumeru, a rare kind of Eurospy thing to come onto 4K UHD and Blu-ray from Blue Underground. This is produced by Harry Allen Towers and features Frankie Avalon, for goodness sake, and Klaus Kinski. How can you go wrong? I have a commentary on there as well from David Del Val and my good friend Troy Howarth. So yeah, that's great. Looks cool. Always good to get the Blue Underground releases in because they do make such an effort. Oh, here is another Asylum film, sorry, that I didn't mention. It is 40 Days and 40 Nights. I think it might be biblical. We have Alex Carter in this. Wasn't Alex Carter in something called Storm? Storm Trooper or Storm Chaser? Probably not. Storm something. Sturm und Drang. But yeah, that is Alex Carter in this. And I think you'll know what you're going to get with that. And finally, in today's I can't believe you didn't have that section. It is Stop, or My Mom Will Shoot. I can't believe I didn't have this. But I didn't, alas. Now I do. I'm very glad I do. Someone asked for it, left me red-faced. You know, how can I not have this? Call yourself a video store. So yeah, that is now in stock. Cool. This is great. I've got so much work on tomorrow to try and fit these in, but that's kind of the best part of the job. It's like, this reminds me, you know those Looney Tunes cartoons where, you know, you've got Roadrunner and Porky Pig or whoever, and they're running out a railroad track, so they build a railroad track as the train is coming, and this is like it. This is like stuff, physical media keeps on coming every day and every week and every month, and then you keep on building stuff to try and, you know, try and stay ahead. But it's tight. It's tight. Just a bit of post. Again, another embarrassing title I didn't have in stock. But this is the benefit of having great customers who spot these things. Don't tell mom the babysitter's dead. Crazy. But now it is in store here. Very cool indeed. Crazy the things you forget. Oh yeah, this was asked for by Kai. Or was it? I forget who asked for it. That's annoying. Burnt by the Sun. But no, this was asked for by someone. But yeah, it is in now anyway. Burnt by the Sun. So I was keen to get that. And finally, yeah, Kath asked for this. It's Black Cat, White Cat, which I believe won the Oscar for Best Foreign Language Film back in 1998. So yeah, wasn't familiar with it, but from what she said, it sounds fascinating. Another important release for our world cinema section. I don't think this will pertain to you. Oh yeah, it is a missing part of my Panda Bear collection. This is Panda Bear Sonic Boom reset in dub. Customers love it. Customers love it. Right, let's have a look at these martial arts. As I say, I was speaking to Jake on Sunday, and he was saying to me, you know, what's your favorite section? And it varies, to be honest. It changes like the tide. And I mentioned the director's collection is really important. Full Moon is great because it's me. I said probably the martial arts section, because I'm so green on martial arts. I know nothing really, but it's a really great section. I think there's it's 300 movies strong now. 300 movies strong, more if you include the Shaw Brothers collections, would be 350. And it is probably it's the best martial arts section in the country in terms of renting. So it was so important to me to pick up these loose or tie up these loose ends, and here they are. I hate the artwork for this. I think it's terrible, but it is anyway. Heroes and Villains, 3 films starring Jet Li. What do we have? We have Dr. Y and the Scripture with No Words. We have The Enforcer, and we have Hitman. But yeah, really not a fan of this box set. I think it could have been done a lot more classily, which is surprising by Eureka, because they're usually so good at this. But nevertheless, here it is. Really pleased to have films like Hitman and The Enforcer in. They were a staple back in the day in terms of martial arts, so that's a good purchase. Had these in on DVD. Obviously, it is Police Story 1 and 2, but so important to get the upgrade to Blu-ray. Show some love for Sammo Hung. 2 of his here. We have Warriors 2 and Prodigal Son. I think I only had the first Once Upon a Time in China movie, to be honest. But now I have the trilogy, which is great. A very nice set from Eureka in one tidy case there. More Sammo Hung. We have Eastern Condors. We have the Iron-Fisted Monk and the Magnificent Butcher. And more Sammo Hung, albeit with Jackie Chan in this Lucky Stars trilogy, which features Winners and Sinners, My Lucky Stars, and Twinkle Twinkle Lucky Stars. More Sammo Hung. I think I just had a think about Sammo Hung, to be honest. Just had a think about Sammo Hung. More Sammo Hung in The Millionaire's Express. And this film here has Sammo Hung. Yeah, it's a Shaolin plot, which is cool. Then we have a bit of Dreadnought, which does look kind of interesting, to be honest. Yeah, Yuan Wu Ping, who of course was the action choreographer for The Matrix and Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. And then finally we have a couple of films by John Woo, which is Last Hurrah for Chivalry, and Hand of Death. So always pleased to add a few woos. I'll tell you what, talking about woo, the remake of The Killer is coming in on Monday. Do we have any thoughts on that? Is it worth... I think I just penciled in like one copy. Is it worth getting in at all? I've heard mixed things. Have any of you guys seen the remake of The Killer? Let me know. Right, let's stack these up here. They'll all be gone tomorrow. This desk will be clean tomorrow night. Well, I've got, you just want to check out this, because this was a great purchase. Because you're gonna have tunes. You're gonna have tunes. So important to set a vibe in store. Jeez. It really is. I like people to, nothing worse than browsing, especially whether you're with someone, in silence. Ah, nice. This is from Rough Trade. This was half price, which is giving it away. It's the new MGMT album, Loss of Life, on Tangerine opaque vinyl. What does Tangerine opaque vinyl look like? Shall we see? But yeah, I used to love MGMT. What was that album? What's the first album called? Ah, so good. So good. I think they did lose their way slightly with successive albums, but this seems like a return to form. But we shall see tomorrow when I crank the turntable up. But yeah, I didn't want to leave you disappointed, so I thought, well, you'll all want to know what Tangerine opaque vinyl looks like. So here we go, Tangerine opaque vinyl. That's just Tangerine, really, isn't it? Very nice indeed. Yeah, that's half price. Giving it away. It's pretty much the same price as the CD. Isn't it Record Store Day this weekend? Anyone getting anything from Record Store Day? Anyone going to queue outside at the local record store and pick up some nice vinyl? Let me know if you're getting any of the limited editions in. Let me know. Right, let's finish this thing off so I can go home and stuff myself silly. Quick look at the comment section. I don't think we're inundated, so shouldn't take too much more of your time. Let's have a look. It might have been a good idea to get the screen up ready, but that would have been too much like forward planning. Okie dokie. Oh, I tell you what, thanks for being so positive with Fallon's episode. It was a great episode, wasn't it, that Fallon did? He was so good. And I must tell you, obviously Fallon's episode of 5 films went out on Sunday evening. And lo and behold, I was in work on Tuesday. And I looked up and Fallon would come in to rent a few films, which was great. And one of my customers who was in at the time, Andy, recognized him. And that was a moment. That was a moment. It was great. But didn't he do well? He did brilliantly, didn't he? This week's 5 films is Ryan. Ryan's a nice chap. Very, very passionate about films. Another young guy. I think Ryan is 25. And he really did pick some interesting choices. So I'll be intrigued to see what you think. And he spoke very well, to be honest. He was another guy who's, you know, he hadn't come to the store before. And he was a little bit overwhelmed initially. So we took a few moments, we took some time and let him settle. And I think he did a really, really good job. So check that out on Sunday. Okay, comment section. Quickly whip through these. Yeah, Condor Man in this last week. I said at the time I didn't know about Condor Man. But Doom Movieathon said, Condor Man, absolutely loved that film as a kid. Disney tried to bury it. Did they really? But old heads like me remember it well. Pair it with another wacky comic book movie called Super Fuzz, directed by Sergio Corbucci. Damn, that sounds really interesting. I shall see if I can track down Super Fuzz anywhere. Nick at M62 Film says, I loved Condor Man, though I was 3 years old the last time I saw it. Sorry, Paul, I did forget your name last week. Yeah, Paul is doing 5 films in about 3 weeks' time. His episode's great. He's so enthusiastic. So yes, Paul. Remember your name. And Mumford loved the Shooting Stars title reference. We do love a bit of Shooting Stars, don't we? And plus, whenever I say Eureka, I can't help but say Eureka. Del Bongo says, I have a genuine soft spot for Drop Zone, but wish I didn't. It never delivers. Yeah, Drop Zone. Like I say, this is the new 4K UHD and Blu-ray from Cinematograph, just on the Liberties label. Bit of a strange choice. Not one of my favorite films. I kind of prefer Terminal Velocity if we're getting into parachuting films, to be honest. I saw them both at the cinema within a few weeks of each other, I think. So yeah, strange decision. It kind of seemed like a purposefully contrary decision to put that out on that label. But fair enough, you know, that's what it's about. If you got the power, then do it. Indie Phantom Sofa Cinema says, I love Suspiria. Yes, Suspiria rented out last week. Suspiria, it was the first Italian horror film that I rented on VHS when I was living in Vancouver. I remember buying it on a cut VHS, then finally getting a glorious upgrade from Anchor Bay years later. I bought the remake on Blu-ray many years ago and still haven't watched it. I haven't watched the remake either. Probably should. I've heard people say some good things about it, but it's just because I love the original so much. I'm just in no rush, unfortunately. Late Night Double Feature says, do you have Less Than Zero in the shop? Yes, I do. It rented out. Who rented it the other week? Oh, I forget. Someone rented it. I forget. I watched it this week, and it's a criminally underrated film. Career best performances by all the lead actors. To be honest, whoever rented it, it kind of triggered something to say, I need to see that. I still haven't seen it. But as Indie Phantom Sofa Cinema says, love the movie and the soundtrack. And the book is said to be awesome as well. So, something to think about. And Phil Abernathy says, I have some Eureka regrets myself. I kept meaning to get Alex Ross Perry's Queen of Earth, and it's now nearly 40 quid on eBay. It's shocking. I know everything has a limited existence on Blu-ray in terms of, how many they press, but some of them got to print so quickly, and kind of once they're gone, it's tough to justify a price like £40 for a Blu-ray. It really is. Although in saying that, I just spent £23 on a DVD, which you do not want to know what it is, but I will tell you next week, and you'll just shake your head. You will just collectively shake your heads. Finally, Paul Gregg says, Craven is the last SPUMC film, which apparently stands for Sony Pictures Universe of Marvel Characters. Paul would know. The last one. So Spider-Man villain gets his own movie like Venom and Morbius. Right, okay. So that's the last one. Right, fair enough. Cool. There are the comments. Thank you again for commenting. Always good to... Oh, that was close. Always good to hear from you all. Please feel free to comment freely again. Tell me what you're watching. Any recommendations? Anything? Any questions? Have a think. But yeah, we'll be back next week. What's up next week? What date is it? It's not, we're not going to have finish. We've got a nice import from America coming in later this week, which has got some really cool stuff, some new Warner Archive stuff. So we'll go through that. We've got some interesting stuff coming in from Germany as well in the next few days. So we'll go through that. Other bits that are coming in. Check email. Yeah, there's bits and bobs coming in all the time. There's a new Full Moon film coming in as well. But yeah, and it's another good week of releases next week too. So it should be fun. It should be fun. But in the meantime, go and watch some movies or go and rent some movies if you're lucky enough to do so. And yeah, I'll see you in about 7 days' time.